how are you envisioning the end? How does this actually play out on the 16th?
I have to say, Khamzat, and he looks incredible in training, what I've seen and people talk about it. And if people are talking about, oh, he's training with this new coach, and I'm very happy for him. He did it 5 weeks out from the fight. I've been doing this my whole life.
If you knew, I always say there's guys, if you knew on a personal level you wouldn't like. Chimaev is one of those people, if you knew you wouldn't. I fought Dricus, I fought Dricus, I fought. Dricus has better stand-up than Chimaev, but Chimaev has a pretty crazy grappling. Now, I've been training with Dadgy terrorists my life, so it's like I train with these. I know how to get up from these guys. I can withstand the storm. I don't know if he's encountered that level of wrestling to where it might get him a little off guard.
How are you envisioning the end? How does this actually play out on the 16th? I have to say, Khamzat, and he looks incredible in training. What I've seen, and people talk about it, and people are talking about, oh, he's training with this new coach, and I'm very happy for him. He did it 5 weeks out from the fight. I've been doing this my whole life. In an explosive revelation, Strickland recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming UFC 319 middleweight title fight between Drios du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev, suggesting that du Plessis may be caught off guard by the immense ground pressure Chimaev is capable of generating. If you knew, I always say to those guys, if you knew on a personal level you wouldn't like, is one of those people if you knew you wouldn't like it. Strickland, who has faced du Plessis twice in the octagon, and has trained extensively with Chimaev, offered an intriguing analysis of how the fight could unfold, particularly when it comes to the ground game. He pointed out that while du Plessis boasts superior striking compared to Chimaev, the latter's wrestling and grappling might present a whole new challenge for the South African middleweight. Strickland commented that du Plessis may have the edge in striking, but it remains to be seen how he'll handle the suffocating takedowns and ground control that Chimaev brings to the table. Led him to believe that Dupi may have never encountered a grappler with such a relentless pace and ability to smother his opponents. Strickland's concern was simple. How would du Plessis react when Chimaev takes him down and keeps him there, unloading a barrage of pressure in a manner few others have been able to handle? I have fought Dricus. I thought Dr. Driz has better stand-up than Chimaev, but Chimaev has a pretty crazy grappling. Now, I've been training with Dadgy terrorists my life. So, it's like I train with these. I know how to get up from these guys. I can withstand a storm. I don't know if he's encountered that level of wrestling to where it might get him a little off guard. Interestingly, Strickland's analysis didn't stop at the grappling. He also made the point Khamzat Chimaev's mentality plays a massive role in how he wins his fights. Chimaev is known for his aggressive style, often bulldozing through opponents with sheer ferocity and intimidating pressure. However, Strickland cautioned that this approach might be undermined if du Plessis doesn't back down. He noted that Chimaev is the kind of fighter who thrives on bullying others, pushing them around, and breaking their will early in the fight. But if an opponent like du Plessis fights back with equal aggression, it could force Chimaev to lose his own composure. Strickland believes that if du Plessis can withstand the initial onslaught and keep his cool, he'll be in a strong position to capitalize on any mistakes Cham might make as the fight progresses. But if he can handle it and get up and work his way up, it's kind of hard because it was a long time ago, but Brad took him down and held him down. I should took him down. But Brad took him down and held him down. So it's like he just really has to be ready for an extreme amount of pressure on the ground, and if he can withstand that, he's beaten. So we're not impressed with his striking when he came here. No, he's just kind of he's like a soft man. Like you take someone like Rodriguez, like Dricus will die. Like that man doesn't give Chimaev, he's just not like Chimaev wins off being a bad guy. Like I'm a bad, tough, scary terrorist, where it's like, and if you look at everybody we spot like that call that pulls this card like alright let's go, A__A. starts changing, so I think some kind of a bully. Nothing wrong with being a bully, man, fighting be a bully, but it's like if you're going to be a bully and someone fights back, you better keep that same energy up. One of the most talked about topics in the lead up to UFC 319 is how Chimaev will handle Duplessis' toughness and durability. Gilbert Burns, who fought Chimaev at UFC 273 in a battle that almost saw the undefeated fighter's first loss, weighed in with his thoughts. Burns, who managed to drop Chimaev and outland him in strikes during their fight, expressed confidence that Duplessis could be the one to hand Chimaev his first defeat. Burns echoed Strickland's sentiment that Chimaev's grappling could dominate early in the fight, but he doesn't believe Duplessis will be finished easily. According to Burns, Duplessis is not the type of fighter to succumb to knockouts or cuts, and he is unlikely to be overwhelmed by Chimaev's pace. Burns also pointed out that Duplessis has a wealth of experience in 5-round fights, which could be crucial against a fighter like Chimaev, who tends to slow down in the later rounds. The question that everyone asks, everyone says the same thing: he kills him. Who you think is going to if he passed that first round? If he passed that first round, the question is he going to pass or no? Yeah, because if he pass right, he's going to win 5 rounds. If he doesn't pass, because do you think if he survives the first round, he automatically wins? I would just not automatically, but I was looking at the fights. I was on going to do a big breakdown my channel. I was looking. The way Burns sees it, if Duplessis can survive the early rounds and keep his composure, he has the potential to outlast Chimaev and land some heavy strikes as the fight wears on. Burns predicts that Duplessis will not only recover from any early adversity, but also dig deep and possibly secure a late finish in the 3rd or 4th round. Given his conditioning and his relentless style, Duplessis is a fighter who can keep the pressure on Chimaev, especially if the fight extends into the championship rounds. Official prediction is -200 on Legends to beat Jairus Pesley. Moano, who's your official pick here? I will say DOI. I know Gilbert's rooting for EDP, but do you think he's going to pull it off? When I look at the fight, that guy gets so freaking tired. He's that one speed fighter. He going to come like a freaking truck at you. I do believe he might take Das down. I don't think he going to get finished. I do believe Droop is going to fight through all that. Maybe a decision, but I do believe a late finish 3rd to 4th round. That's my prediction. Rampage Jackson also recently gave his take on the Chimaev-Duplessis matchup. Having witnessed Chimaev's training firsthand, Jackson praised the Chechen fighter intensity and work ethic, likening him to a beast in the gym. Jackson, a former UFC light heavyweight champion, has trained with some of the best in the business, including John Jones. But he noted that Chimaev's energy and approach to training are on another level. Jackson went so far as to say that Chimaev reminds him of Michael Bisping, not because of his fighting style, but because of his unwavering commitment to training and his mental toughness. One person who's training inside the gym is Khamzat Chimaev. Compared to all the bodies you've seen come through the gym, where does he stack up? Man, he's one of the best. You know, we had a Kalia Brown tree coming there. He's a beast as well. You got him. What's his name? And Lukin. What's his name? Arman and Lukin. Arman Sarukian. God damn it. I mess up by the name. Arman Sarukian. Sarukian. Yeah, he's a beast too. Yeah. But Khamzat, man, he a beast, man. I saw him for a couple of seconds over there, man. He was murking people. Despite this admiration for Chimaev's work ethic, Jackson believes Duplessis poses a serious threat. He highlighted the fact that Duplessis is a fighter who doesn't back down from adversity, much like a truck barreling through a wall. You're a beast, bro. Who do you compare that to? You fought the who's who. You've been inside the octagon with John Jones. Who does Khamzat Chimaev remind you of, if anybody at all? No, he don't. No, he's a different animal, but his work ethic reminds me of Michael Bisping though. Okay. Yeah, Michael Bisping was always animal in the gym. That's why I love training with that kid. Meanwhile, Daniel Cormier added another layer of intrigue to the build-up to UFC 319 by revealing a concerning moment during Chimaev's camp. Cormier recounted how just a couple of months ago he received a call questioning whether Chimaev would be able to fight at UFC 319 due to some unspecified issue. This uncertainty raised eyebrows as Cormier was asked who should replace Chimaev against Duplessis if he were unable to make the fight. The fact that Cormier was involved in these discussions suggests that there were some serious concerns about Chimaev's ability to perform in this high-stakes showdown. While Chimaev is now set to make the walk to the octagon, the underlying mystery about his camp adds an extra layer of uncertainty to the fight. Everybody spoke about Christine Thomas said last week. If Khamzat becomes a champ, it would be a nightmare. I said. Do you not remember? Part of the nightmare as to why he wasn't fighting was because it seemed like he couldn't get into the country. I go. That's why Jail was at the Apex one time going, hey, Khamzat can't fight in Chicago. He's not here. He can't get into the country. And then your camera pants, you're talking to his manager camera pants, right? The Khamzat in Vegas at the very beginning. So to that point I was like, wait, if he's here, there should be no more issues because in the beginning, he was very active. He was very active. He fought very frequently. But you said it's cardio-based and hey, sometimes if you just asked, surprisingly, you might get a yes. And it seems like you got the yes to go watch. He said that they're working very hard. This is another thing Khamzat said yesterday, and he said it very confidently. He said, if it goes quick, I'll be ready.